Yeah. It's for all my solid ones, my soft foods, yeah, warrior scholars. Nigga taking the time to understand what this shit about. Learn something. Learn to grow and to change. Focus, keep us entertained. Yeah. 213. I only roll with the messiahs. Eyes full of fire. Weapons unbiased. Enemy know not to try it. Yeah, I am the messiah. We be multipliers. Supreme mathematics. We be dropping the signs. My conception was immaculate. A gift from the heavens. A light to the world. Prophesied by the elders by the time I was 12. I had to think for myself. In the wilderness with panthers, reptiles and bears. Yeah, surviving by my instincts. Shifting in an instant. Sharpening my act right eye. Hit them from a distance. Being self-sufficient. Taking myself fishing. Taking myself out was never part of the mission. They can't stop what God's done. Tell them I am God's son. I came from a zero to seeking refuge on God's thumb. Never been no caveman, but I be in the mountaintops. Training with the sages, yeah, they talk.
It's JP on the FWN podcast. Fuck with me. The Diary of the Strong Black People. I'm here again. I got my boy, my dog, Booby in the building.
Sir.
He has finally made it and graced his presence in the rabbit hole. And I'm going to let this man introduce himself to you guys and give y'all some information, and we're going to get down to the rabbit hole business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Starting off, man, appreciate you having me on, man. Appreciate seeing what you're doing. All that, man, is dope. It's a good little show, man. So, I am Booby. Some of y'all may know me as Miles, either or. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, host of a few things, man. I'm a contributor to the Soup for the Soul podcast. I'm a host of the Untitled podcast. Got a few other little projects that I'm working on in the meantime. Trying to keep this thing rolling, man. So, yeah, appreciate you having me on, brother.
It's no problem. It's no problem, man. You know, you always welcome to the rabbit hole, always. But let's get down to it, man. Let me know what you got going on.
Yeah, man. So first and foremost, man, the Untitled podcast is my baby, man. That's my project. It's something that actually got birthed, and I've been working on really about 2 years. You know, I always talk about processes when people holler at me about different things, man, like working through certain processes. So, you know, I wanted to do it. You know, I knew podcast was a thing that I could kind of, you know what I mean, shine in. You know what I mean? Even as a little boy, I always told I talk too much. You know what I mean? So with this, you know what I mean, kind of led me to that. So, but I want to do it right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I had a couple people tell some more people about what I had going on, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people was like, oh yeah, JP, yeah, you know, that's his speed. You know, he just like to talk, you know. And
it's funny how that works, man.
And it's not that, you know, sometimes that's just backhanded, mm-hmm. you know. But the thing about it is, I am using the platform to catapult others, not for gossip, not for the rumor report. This is totally to catapult my people and put them in positions for. They may not have the confidence theirself to start what they want and what they feel that their best skill is. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people are so afraid of what they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. People will laugh at or say, man, you're not going to make no money with that. You know what I'm saying? Like a female, you know, I was like, you know, I was just thinking in my head, like, what if she would come to me, I say, well, what is it that you want to do? And she say, well, I want to be a professional babysitter. If she says that to the people on the outside, they're going to laugh. Yep. But me, I'm thinking, okay, FWN podcast, studios, employees, they got kids. Right? They got kids, right? All right. We have an office area downstairs or in the other room, play area. Have the kids come, bring your kids to work. You ain't got no reason to call in because you ain't got no babysitter.
Yep. And one thing about it, I mean, at the end of the day, a professional, like people say that word professional. If you getting paid for your professional, no matter what that is. You know what I'm saying? If you trapping, if that's what you do, if you making money, you professional. If you cook, and you getting paid for it, you're a professional. This is what you do. You get paid. That's the difference between an amateur and a professional. You look at the Olympics, right? They got sponsors and all that, but they're not getting paid to be at the Olympics. Like the Olympics ain't paying you, so they amateurs. If you play in the NBA game, you getting paid to play in that game. You're a professional. That's the only difference between amateur and professional. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, when we talk about wanting to do certain stuff and being afraid to do it, and part of it's going to be confidence, right? Like, you got to believe in, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't believe in what you're doing, then that's going to be 98% of your battle right there. Just believing that you can make this happen, that you got the ability to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then the other part of it, too, is if I got that confidence, I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm learning, right? One of the first things somebody told me when I started my podcast, and I was going through all this, I'm kind of perfectionist, this kind of stuff, right? Like, I want the sound to be right. I want the content to be right. I want everything to be A1. You feel me? And somebody told me, hey, just build it while you fly. Like, get in the air first. Just get up there. While you up there, you may be building. If we in this plane, let's get these wings right, let's get everything straight. That before I crash, I know how to put everything I could into this to make sure this thing fly. Hopefully I get it right before I hit the ground. And if I get it right, then we in there and we flying. But I'm not going to be afraid of that. I'm not afraid I'm not afraid to fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my superpower. I ain't afraid to fuck up.
See, and people will call me bossy, impatient. Mm-hmm. But, and when you go to your confidence part, right?
Most geniuses are both of them things, by the way.
They misconstrue my confidence for arrogance.
It's a fact. Most people do.
So growing up as a young kid, you know, all right, there are places and areas that you put kids in boxes, categories, right? I wasn't a genius, okay? I wasn't honors or valedictorian, salutatorian, right? But I wasn't a dropout or lazy or kid that just didn't want to do it, right? So now, and I'm not average. I'm above average. So if I'm not a genius, there's nowhere to put me, all right? And then if I'm not a dummy, there's no place to put me there either. So I'm not average, but I'm above average. So it put me in a spot as a young kid that I had to do a lot of plugging myself in a lot of things. It's not being a chameleon, but just getting in my mind at an early age, just do a role. Whatever that is you doing, do that. Whatever that person or whatever group or team that you're in, whatever they tell you to do that.
Yep.
So when they start talking about anything else, well, you didn't ask me to do that. You told me to be the best at what you told me to do. And a lot of coaches used to get very mad at me because they would say, I'm rebellious, I'm a rebel, I don't listen, I just talk back.
What they call it, the complainers corner?
Yeah.
I remember
they used to call us the complainers corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, first of all, you're not going to tell me something without you telling me, you're not going to tell me to do something without telling me the value behind it. They want you to run through a wall for them. But for me to run through a wall for you, you got to be trustworthy.
I know to the other side.
That too, we gonna get to that later. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, they would tell me to do something. I'd be like, nah, man, why?
Yeah.
Oh, that's disrespectful. So, sports, I wasn't the superstar. I just was pretty good. I was able to hold my own better than average.
But you developed though. Like, that's one thing I can say with you. Like, even just watching you, like me and you, especially then, like me and you was always together. Like, watching you actually, what you say, you mastered that part of it, right? Like, whatever role it was, you would master that role. Now, was you the superstar? I remember when you was playing corner, right? You wasn't the one that was going to get 10 picks in the season. but you ain't giving up 100 yards. You ain't giving them a whole lot of catches. And if they do catch it, you're making that tackle.
And they're not coming around the corner on the run.
Yeah, you see, you doing everything that they asking to do. You know what I mean? So you doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing your job.
Basketball. I'm not going to score 30 points.
Yep.
I'm not going to score 15. Not going to. However, I know every spot everybody's supposed to be in. I pass the ball. I know where you're supposed to be at. A lot of people say, damn, how you see? I know where he's supposed to be. You're telling me this. We're running the plays in practice. We're running the plays in drills. Yep. You're telling me what the play develops to. So I already know if my first option is always going to be open the first time. Mm-hmm. But there are always 3 options after. It just takes patience.
Word.
It just takes patience. A lot of people don't have patience.
And I think to that point, to what you said too, like, we didn't think about it then, but when we got older, we started kind of moving into our own paths. Like, having that ability is important. Like, I know with my podcast, right? Like, I know every single thing that needs to be done. The same way when you running the point, like, you know where everybody's supposed to be, right? So I know what this is supposed to look like. So if it's not looking like that, I recognize it and I can fix it. Imagine if you're trying to conduct or create something, but you didn't take the time to learn what everything is supposed to be. Now, when you get to it and you're like, something ain't right, or you put it out for the public to see, and they're telling you, this ain't right, that ain't right, you have no way to correct it because you don't know how to fix it. You never to that time. I know when we first started the podcast, I recognized, something about the sound, man. The sound, I got to fix this. And one thing what we do is we play music throughout the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, there's a segment that we have when we play music. It's mainly to kind of break the podcast up. You know what I'm saying? We talk for 15, 20 minutes. Let's play some songs. Let's talk 15, 20 minutes. Play some songs. It's like a commercial break on TV, right? Same concept. But the sound ain't right. And I can't play music that's meant to be heard if it don't sound good. So we got to figure this shit out. Like, something got to shake. You feel me? So now I'm doing my research. I'm studying other podcasts. I'm watching podcasts on YouTube, not to see what they're talking about. I want to see what equipment they use. What the fuck y'all got over there? Oh, that's it. Oh, okay. So that's what worked. That's why I sound like this. I'm hitting folks up with other podcasts. What you use? The Soup for the Soul podcast I was partnering with in the A. Shout out to B. You know what I mean? If they help me out with it, because he still do a lot for me. As far as graphic design stuff, all that. I hear B like, hey, bro, y'all got that? How you use it? How do you make that work? How you play music before and after? How that work? Oh, I do X, Y, Z. Okay, cool. But I took that time to learn it. So now anytime sound is off, I know exactly how to fix it.
But the thing about it is so much media that we see, it is so put together to where nobody is thinking about the process. They only be able to think about the finished product. So you're just thinking they're building a false narrative to everybody who wants to be like whoever that they're watching, but they don't watch a person go through their continuous grind all the time to learn and to build. You can't just throw something together.
When you go to the movies, right, and the movie's over with, when do you leave?
After the last credit. After the last,
well, you wait. Yeah. But most people, they get the movie's over with,
they go.
I'm gone.
They go.
Right? So if I want to do movies, if I want to be a camera guy, if I want to be a director, I get it for leaving the movie's over with. They roll credits for 2-3 minutes, and you see all these damn people who had a hand in this shit being what it was. So that should tell you off top. These are 50, 100, 150, 200 people. They say, hey, Boom Mike A was him. The lighting people was them. You know what I mean? The food, the caterers were them. Everybody who made this thing work, this is all of them. None of this happens without them.
And not only that, after the credits are done, they always give you that last jaw dropper from that movie.
Yep.
But nobody, and it's usually the eye opener for you to say, oh,
yep.
The problem with people right now is a lot of these things is going over their head.
Yep.
It's a lot of simple stuff that's in your face.
Mm-hmm.
They're not soaking it in because they're looking solely for entertainment. You want to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody's going into a movie because I want to cry. I feel like crying today. Let me go watch the Titanic.
Right.
Nobody goes, somebody wants to laugh. Somebody wants to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they go looking for movies for. But the last few movies that have been coming out has some powerful messages in it that people have totally been missing.
Mm-hmm.
I ask everybody about The Purge.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them, what do you see or get out of The Purge?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, it's so in their face, they just think, oh, for 24 hours, I get to just kill anybody I want. I said,
it's a lot of messages.
it's so many. And the biggest one is, you know, because you didn't see our people out there killing.
Yep.
You didn't.
Mm-mm.
The problem is all the elite, quote unquote, elite, because a lot of those white folks are just overly just, you know what I'm saying? They just got money. They're not elite money.
Right.
They're just 300,000, 400,000, maybe, you know, 200,000 comfortable white people in their good neighborhoods, right? But the problem is they leave out their fucking neighborhood to go and purge, right? You have to drive in your car instead of locking your ass up in your house because you're safe. You don't have to do it. You are cool, right? They drive across the city to go in what neighborhood?
Oh.
And then they try to say, oh, well, they just want to kill the black people. But why? Because it's not always all white people.
Right.
Because like Charlotte said now, you know, you got to crack a couple eggs to make that omelet too.
Right.
So it's a lot of their people too.
Mm-hmm.
But the message that people are missing is they really have this notion in their minds that you have the same 24 hours that I do.
Right.
Why you're not where I'm at.
Right.
And if you're not doing what I feel like I'm doing to your best ability, why are you wasting breath? You need to be off of here. You're wasting tax money.
Yeah.
And but that got to be some selfishness and some, boy, white people got one thing that I always call, boy, and I wonder where they buy it from. Mm-hmm. It's called audacity.
It's fact.
It's called audacity.
It's fact. And you know, one thing I realized, man, just growing up in this people shit, going to Georgia Southern, you know what I mean? Is being around number white folk, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's funny. When you go to orientation at Southern, they tell you, look left and look right. They say one of the people ain't going to be with y'all when y'all graduate. That's number one. Number two, going through with everybody who black, who graduated from Southern, tell you, by the time you hit them senior level classes, them top classes, it's you and maybe two other folks that look like you that's left off top. Now, that drop off, right? So where everybody go, they like to point to, well, the black people, y'all were just lazy. Y'all don't want to go to class. Y'all want to party. Nah, that ain't it, because the white folk party more than we did. I remember, man, I had a class I'll never forget. I had an English class, right? It was actually the World Lit. And we had a test on Thursday. But Luke Bryan, country singer, he went to Georgia Southern. Luke Bryan performing it better. You know what these folks told the professor? Well, no, we can't do it Thursday because he performing it better on Wednesday. And we ain't gonna be ready. You know what he told him? Okay, cool. When y'all move Tuesday. Now that proved 2 points for me, right? One, you look at the first thing on the surface, you say, oh shit, that's privilege. Right? Like, damn, that's, but second part too is they ask.
And that is one thing they don't mind now.
Yeah, they'll ask. So when you said audacity, it is audacity, but that's a skill. That's a talent. Having audacity. We tell each other all the time, right? When we in high school, it's a female you want to holler at, right? I said, man, I don't know. The first thing you tell us, shit, worst thing to say is no.
Yes or no.
That's it. But that's with them. But when it comes time to something that's affecting your life,
you don't want to hear no. Because you don't want to hear no, because you're so used to hearing no. Exactly. The thing about it is, if you've heard no so much, why is it new than if you hear no again?
What's the harm in it?
Exactly. Like what?
Why are you scared of? What you scared of?
Because at the end of the day, if you already going in with no, when they tell you, yeah, you like, hold on, say that again.
That's a fact.
Say that again. Yeah.
And that, you appreciate it.
Exactly.
Because it always, Jay-Z said this shit. All this time, you just gotta be right once. That's what people don't understand. So when we talked about earlier, like, you want to do these things, you want to be a professional babysitter, you want to do all this shit. All you gotta do is be right one time. Get it right once. A lot of people hit me up, my brother doing all that real estate shit, right? He only had to get that shit right once. And then he built. He built from there. Just get it right one time. Now, are you wrong a bunch of times? Sure. But be right once. That's all it takes.
Because let me tell you, it only takes one time to be wrong or to get caught lying. And then that one time, that is how you're classified in the court of opinion.
Court of public opinion, absolutely.
If you are found a liar one time or wrong one time, if they can discredit you, you will never be able to stand on anything, because remember that one time, you've been right a million times. That one time he wrong, now they go back and be like, well, damn, let me see if the other times he was wrong.
That's a fact.
Let me see these other times he was lying.
They gonna call through all your shit, and that's cool. Now, and see, when you look at that, that's lying. If you're doing that, that's a little different. But if you're wrong, and sure, I mean, you think about it, you could drop 30 points in the game, miss the game winning. That's all they're going to talk about is the game winning. They don't give a shit that you dropped 30. They don't care that the whole reason your team was in this game was because of you. They don't care. But the thing is, and I grabbed my phone and look for this shit, right? It should say, if you only play for applause, then you place your happiness in the hands of the audience, right? So, yeah, they may boo you for missing that game winning, but if all I was playing for was for y'all to chill, I lost before I stepped on this court. So it's the same thing in life. If all I'm doing this for is for these folks to clap for me, if all I did with the podcast, if I only did a podcast, I want people to clap for me. And I didn't want to make an impact. I didn't want to create. I didn't want people to hear our voices out loud. That's my reason for doing the podcast. If I only did it because I want people to enjoy it and clap for me and say, hey, you talked about what I like hearing. So as soon as you turn around and say, I didn't like that, now I'm a failure in my mind? Nah.
And that's crazy. So let me ask you this, right? So, and I'm sure because you said you already dropped the last one, your last episode, or the last one is coming up?
We wrapped the last episode for season 1 dropped last week.
Okay. In the last 2 weeks, have you touched on, because I know you guys touch on a lot of current events. Y'all boys jump on it immediately, right? Have y'all touched on Lil Nas X in the last 3 episodes lately? You got to, right? Like, that's kind of part of it. The last episode, not so much. The last episode was more so just it was the last day of school type feel. We tried to chop it up. You just did a whole preview of current things like murder, like you do every year, whatever happened.
Yeah, kind of a recap.
Yeah.
Now, the episode before that we did, so we tapped into that. We talked to the little baby. I'm sorry, the baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The baby talking to you with the comments or whatever. And we kept it a buck.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that. You know what I'm saying? Because, I look at things through both sides.
Okay.
So I recognize that, let's say growing up, right? If you do something that's wild, that's weird, whatever, first thing we say, hey man, that shit gay. We may not mean gay as in homosexual, but it's gay. Gay as in I don't like it.
That act is gay.
That act is gay, right?
Yeah.
So if you break it down as adults, it's like, well, damn, everything negative is gay, right? That's how a lot of folks look at it as adults. Now, in today's time, everybody's sensitive. That ain't what we meant when we were fucking 10 years old. We were just talking shit. We didn't mean it, but that's how they break it down. Now,
but when you put a law on it,
right,
it's okay for you to feel some type of way.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, real homosexuals and some even regular people, only things that can affect you, bruh, that's said is when it hit home on when somebody just say, "Oh man, that's gay." It's like, it's just that you look at it, that's ignorant. Whatever.
The perfect example of what you're saying is when people talk about they show all this gay shit on TV. Like gay, heterosexual, not heterosexual, homosexual, like kissing men.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, well, they're trying to train the kids' minds.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, like, nah, because we saw we saw that a lot. And if I'm not gay, that didn't do nothing for me.
Not really. Okay. So so let me touch on it.
Yeah.
Bro, it was very hard for us to run into some sexuality when we were growing up. We had to stay up. We had to go look for it. We had to stay up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Bro, the ultimate goal as a child was to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning so we can only catch tip drill.
That's fact. Just a tip drill.
Now,
or I was nasty. I'll catch a little shit on stars too.
But that was fake.
Yeah, that was fake. That was fake. But back then, but
HBO was real.
Yeah, real sex.
Real sex was real.
It was fucking.
That was a flick. Yeah, that's real. Yeah. That's real. Showtime, Cinemax, that's just dry hump.
Yeah.
Basically. That's just dry hump.
Yeah.
And you ain't never seen no black people on that shit.
Never.
Not one time. Not one time.
We got to college. I don't even see them Zane. You see that Zane shit with the books? We had a little TV show. They fucking on that.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jerome from Snowfall's on that shit.
But you know, the crazy thing about it is when you say that, you're right. That if you're not gay, but the thing about it is when the TV is asking you things as you look at it is this something that you ever thought about? Mm-hmm. Is this something that if you have, don't be ashamed of it. Yeah. It's okay. These shows are talking to the kids. We were watching TV. It was just you had to catch the ads.
I think the kids now get exposed to it more, but I think it's just like as a little kid, if I saw a fat ass, if I saw whatever, my dick got hard, because that's what I like. If I saw a fine ass woman, if I saw a Trina, if I saw whoever, that's what I liked, and I knew that's what I liked. I think, honestly, if they gay, if they see that's what they like, that's what they like. But now, granted, I think that the TV showing it at such a young age kind of puts them on so they're younger, kind of like with D Wade's son, right? Like he saw it so young that he's younger and he's saying, no, this is who I am at a younger age. But I think, honestly, whether you saying you gay at 10 years old or 22 years old, your ass was gay. At the end of the day, you was gay. Now, when you come out and tell everybody, now the main thing for me is just how, we were saying, we're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You gay. In high school, how many folk were gay? We didn't care.
Yeah.
We dap you up the same way. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That means more hoes for us.
Yeah.
I don't care. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just like, shit, bro, do your thing. Like, I don't care. That don't affect me.
And the thing about it is, let's even go to this though, with the Lil Nas X thing, right? All right. Let's all go back a little bit. And I asked a couple people this just to see what their responses was, not to change my mind, not to change their minds, but I'm always wanting to dialogue and just pick your brain, right? Let's go back. Mm-hmm. Lil Nas X came out with Old Town Road, right? It started climbing the charts, right? A lot of us we knew that was a good song. Not many people knew his name like that, but we knew that was a good, catchy song, right? The kids was all, slapping their boots and, down the road, but okay. It was an outcry that he came and infiltrated the country music, right?
They got rid of him quick.
They got rid of him, right? It was just an outcry. So what happened next? Didn't he have to go and remix it and put Billy Ray on it?
He can't. He ought to vouch for him.
Okay.
Yeah, that cosign. Yep.
Okay. Boom. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, all of a sudden, we're sitting here thinking that was the cosign that got it, right? Mm-hmm. But what happened afterwards? He came out and what? What did he come out and say he was?
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I've always said this and I will stand on it. Okay. A black man will never get rights in America until he surrenders his masculinity and join the Alphabet Club.
Strong point. I don't disagree.
He is polarized now. As soon as but they will put the Billy Ray cosign on it and think he was the one that vouched. No white man can vouch for a black person when they already have hate in their heart.
You know what?
He has to be married.
Let's get into this real quick.
Okay.
You're making a real good point.
Okay, come on.
Let's get into this. Let's keep it a buck.
Okay.
You black people came to this country because of what we could do.
Mm-hmm.
So, at what you said, we will never receive rights until we surrender our masculinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why? Because black sells. Our culture sells.
Mm-hmm.
You know me, if you're gay, it will sell. It's going to sell. Mm-hmm. Black women love gay men. They love black gay men. They do. Maybe not for relationship purposes, but they love them. Mm-hmm. What's my man name to be with a city girl? Saw Santana. They love that. Mm-hmm. Right? Love him. Why? There's no real reason.
I mean, there's no real reason. Because they want to have male friends that don't want to try to fuck them.
Right.
They want to finally feel comfortable. Women love having male company.
And that's a whole other conversation. We'll get in that and keep it a buck with you. A lot of the issue with that is there's a lot of niggas who can't be around beautiful women without trying to fuck. Yeah. And they also understand the concept of if she's fine, she got fine. Just fuck the friends. Well, we can say that'll be another combo for another day. Yeah, but a lot of motherfuckers don't get it. It's cool. I get it. You thirsty?
Cool.
That's not a combo. So if we were brought here just from the jump, we set foot on American soil because of what we can do for you. Mm-hmm. Now, two things as a black man in America will get you ahead. Mm-hmm. Either what you said before, and in doing that, you're making them money, and it's been acknowledged that the majority of Hollywood is homosexual in some way, shape, or form. There's somebody there pulling the strings. Somebody in that room is pulling the strings. The proof in the pudding is when the baby made his comments and Rolling Loud, and boom, all these festivals, nah. It's the reason why he's still doing club appearances. Why? They don't care. Yeah. The people there do. You offended the wrong person.
You offended the elite man.
The second one is if you have a bag. You got that bag. You're an athlete. Just generate money. And even that sometimes ain't enough. They spray painted a nigga on LeBron garage door. He was away during the finals, right? Years ago. So even that's not always enough. But those two things are the things that get you ahead. Right? That's when you receive a certain amount of
Look how much they're trying to take Kyrie Irving down.
Absolutely.
The young man.
Because you're not doing nothing for him. Kyrie's only making money for Kyrie. He's taking money out of their pockets when he says things he says. I agree with a lot of what Kyrie says. But I realized that, all right, Kyrie, for your money, they gonna come after you because of what you're saying.
He's a champion.
He's a champion. I love every time Kyrie speaks. I love it.
You cannot take anything from him now. Kyrie said if he gets traded, he will retire right then and there. Yep. And you know what? If he does, he is still at the top of the chart. And he is a champion.
That's a fact.
He is a champion.
It's a reason. And so when you look at the NBA, and it's funny, in different professional sports, you see it in different lanes, right? So the NBA, they can do that. Because the NBA, this is a whole a basketball team. 12 guys on it, 15 on that roster, right? If one guy goes down, superstar goes down, it's going to be hard to win, right? Football, NFL is a little different.
1,500 people.
Exactly.
And if they strike, you can find 1,500 nobodies out this world. Yeah. That's why I totally believe football will never
it's too die. It's too many.
It's going to continue to be slavery.
It takes too much because you have offense. That's strictly offense. You got a defense, strictly defense. Then you got a special team.
Strictly special team.
Right. And they're strictly special. And they're just trying to give an offensive defense. But some of them are, like you said, they made their money. Hey, I'm going to kick off team. This is what I do. I'm a punt returner. This is what I do.
Practice squad too.
I'm a practice squad. I make this $200,000, $300K a year on the practice squad for 2-3 years. This is what I do.
I salute to Emmanuel Acho and Sam Acho. Bro, those two men were genius. They were genius. Emmanuel knew. He was good, but he kept competing against his brother. That was the shadow that he had to always follow. So if I make it, how can I capitalize? He spent enough time talk to the right people, and both of them are very intelligent. Very.
Acho got a book. Emmanuel Acho got a book that's dope.
Exactly. The thing about it is he played enough to actually still get that check after that last team. Now, ESPN. So now, not ESPN. Speak for yourself, Fox, right? Him and Marcellus. Bro, when I tell you, Acho is, straight and narrow. And and keeping it real, right? The thing about it is too, when Sam finally came on the scene, Sam played 9 years though. Sam had a longer career. Max Kellerman and Stephen A were gone for a while.
Yeah.
So Sam came in and Kimberly came in. Then Swagoo came in. Then what's the big guy that used to play with the Patriots? The fat lineman.
Wiley?
No.
No, Wiley.
I forgot his name. Woody.
Yeah, Woody.
Woody.
Yeah, Woody.
Bro, when I tell you, man, it was so authentic with Acho and Kim every single day. And I'm talking about no drama, straight dialogue, no debate to where the yelling was going on. That's why and when Max Kellerman left, man, the thing about it too, that Stephen A shit.
Yep.
Them white folks really, really now are about to backstab. They are really, I'm talking about Tim Tebow attacking them. Orlovsky came in and they allowed Orlovsky to go in there and have film and just telling him about his suit, his feet, putting his hands in his pocket. Bro, and Stephen A is just doing the dance for these folks.
Yep.
Doing the dance, talking about, everybody get their chance to come and take a shot at me. But let me tell you, this is not about to be a sports debate shot. They are about to really
attack you as a man.
Attack you as a man.
And you know what it actually goes back to, and I spoke about when we were brought here as slaves because of what we could do for white folk, right? Stephen A, if you remember, Stephen A had his own show on ESPN before. It was called Quite Frankly. Now, the thing with Stephen A's plug was always AI. AI what was hot. Stephen A started as a reporter in Philly. Him and AI was like that.
Yeah.
He could call AI and get an interview. He could call Kobe and get an interview. They fought with Stephen A at the time. If you remember, because of Stephen A being himself, being authentic, like you spoke about, they got his ass removed. Now, if you follow Stephen, what happened was Skip will bring Stephen A here and there on first take.
No, that wasn't Cold Pizza first?
Well, it was Cold Pizza at the time.
Yeah.
But Skip will bring Stephen A on for certain segments, big segments, and it turned into him coming randomly to him coming. I want to say it was every Tuesday or Wednesday. We talking basketball with Stephen A. And Stephen A will come on. And went from that to when that host left, now Stephen A's going from just being somebody on the screen to somebody in the studio. Somebody in the studio to a permanent fixture. This is now First Take with Skip and Stephen A.
But how did he get there?
He did a dance.
And what was that dance?
He bowed down to Skip. He had to.
The interview process was the golden child, Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
When he latched on to that story, man, Stephen A irks my nerves a lot of time because he is so disconnected with the Black community now. And Cold Pizza, I never really listened to him way far back then, 03, 04. I never really listened to him that far back. But it seems that he's so out of touch, that he's so afraid that he's been surrounded by these whites so much that the Black community that watch him, that his Black card or his Blackness is in jeopardy. So he has to name drop.
But why? Why is it in jeopardy? Because the thing is they got rid of me before. They'll do it again. They saved me. So it's a concept, and I wish I could remember, man. It's a certain way of thinking. It's actually a mental disorder, really. But he really feels as if, well, shit, these motherfuckers saved me. I owe them now. The same motherfuckers who got rid of you years ago, you owe them. I gotta do this for y'all. I got you. What do y'all need me to do? What do I need to say? Oh, y'all like when I talk about Kwame? When I say Kwame this, Kwame that, every chance I get, I'm attacking Kwame. Every chance I get, I'm attacking African-American athletes. Every chance, I'm not defending us in front of Skip. So when Skip had that thing when he would call African, he would give all these nicknames, right? Chris Bosh, Posh Spice. You got all these different little names you give these black athletes that are offensive, right?
But Aaron Rodgers is that man.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
Tebow is your brother.
Yeah, exactly. You love Tim Tebow. You're accepting Tim Tebow. And it's actually something that goes into, and I'm going to stay here, but we can take it to another point too. That way of thinking for Stephen A is, they saved me. They made me X, they made me Y. They made me who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Not remembering that, no, you built yourself into Stephen A with quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all got rid of me. I went against y'all. Now y'all done brought me back. He's the face of ESPN. Ain't a motherfucker on ESPN on TV getting paid more Stephen A. Smith.
Oh,
it's not so. It's not so.
Oh, no.
But you look how they work. Keep Stephen A. asses on TV in the morning. Then he coming back to sports.
They are running that nigga dry.
Yeah, you see it in his face. You see it in his face.
They are running him in
He's tired of shit. And whenever he tap out, gone. And we gonna fill your ass with somebody else. Stephen A. gone. The fresh young voice of ESPN, Maria Taylor ass, is gone. The real ones are out of there. Jamel, gone. She'll tell you, nah, bro.
Carrie Champion, all she had to do was walk on the stage and stand by the teleprompter and people were going to watch. And just point her finger. That's a fact. Carrie Champion, when she was on Coast to Coast, when she left First Take and went to Coast, man, listen, that when you can see her stand from head to toe and not just under the podium, numbers. Jamel, Michael, those two, they were a dynamic duo.
And there's others. Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks is next up. Taylor Rooks, she ain't coming. Nah, she not doing it.
Dominique Foxworth makes me uncomfortable. He makes me uncomfortable. And because sometimes he does not believe who he can be. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing that dance too. Sometimes Bomani.
A lot of times
Bomani, I can be there with him and then sometimes I'll be like, what are you doing?
Rob Parker. She's gone now.
Yeah.
Rob Parker was the same way.
I think Chris Broussard is very authentic.
Yeah.
Chris Broussard lines up side by side with Mark Jackson. Very faithful men by the Bible, Christian faith, and those guys just do what they can do. And they do real stats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they talk about.
So how do we combat that? What do we do? Because again, at the end of the day, and I think this is a lot of the issue that comes with us as people, is not that we're necessarily trying to tap dance, is that we're trying to feed our families. So how do we combat it? How do we provide for our families without, at the end of the day, basically selling our soul?
Let me tell you this, bro. What we have to do, first of all, like the beginning when I was telling you about the professional babysitter, we have to start when people have skills, they're certified. We have to start shopping and being with our own so we are not having to tap dance for that. The same way caps or whatever the government is paying those other people, your business is legit. You can go through a voucher or caps like that. Just go through that. But even with the school, bro, these kids, the curriculum is awful.
Right.
And you know which ones? They've changed math all the way. We don't borrow from the neighbor anymore. You know what they do?
What?
They separate it, isolate it, one by one, then build the blocks. So we don't carry the one, borrow from the neighbor, nothing. They want critical race theory in schools right now, right? I mean, why would you trust the state to make it a curriculum?
Right.
Why are we banning so hard to make somebody that has been ruining us for so long and trusting to make a curriculum for it?
I think this is a time that, honestly, now that we're at a point to where it's never going to be. Let's keep it there. It's never be. But this is where separation is almost a good thing.
Martin should have never.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But the thing is that, and a lot of people say that, but the issue was that he had to.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the thing. So you don't think I'm being greedy? He can come too. He's right. He can come too. We just want us.
Right. But see, the thing is, I think that he was right in one sense in the recognition that it wasn't equal. And I think is what he asked for is what threw it off, right? So we don't want to go to school with y'all. Because at the end of the day, perfect example, Bradwell. My aunts and my uncle were the first black students to go to Bradwell. My family integrated Bradwell. We lived, if you go to my grandma's house in Hinesville to this day, you used to 5-minute walk to Bradwell, right around the corner. Now, what they did was my uncle, and he'll tell you, my uncle still tell you these stories about when he played ball. About 2 minutes left in the game, uncle had to go. They had to go to the locker room, get on the bus. Do that now to get you out of harm's way. Now, the issue is that even back then, they were accepting of the blacks to come in because the football team, basketball team, you come be the star. So I think what Martin asked for was, can we come to school with y'all? We don't want to come to school with y'all. We don't. What we want is the same government funding that y'all get for y'all school. Just put that over there too. Give them that too. Give them books. See, separate but equal was a thing, right? Like that's what they said. They said let's keep the white people said let's keep it separate. Jim Crow was separate but equal. Keep blacks over there, keep whites over here, but equal. They never made it equal.
The problem
the thing is fuck the separate part, right? Keep it separate. Let's make it equal. Okay. Give us what we need to say we are giving them, and then let us grow. But they knew better.
The problem is this too. We too loud.
That's it.
We too loud.
That's it.
So he kept screaming, accent. There was one white man in that board meeting and was like, hold on. I think we up to something. If he wants that, if we keep them separated, we're not going to know what they're planning on doing. How the fuck will we? To be able to play defense, we got to know how to read the play. Bring them together. Bring them together. Now they're under our watch. Bring them back. Let's give them that.
Can't do so you can't do.
But
that, right?
Now, if we give them that, let's notice now. He's too smart. He's going to think of something else. And he's going to renege on what he asked for. We can't have that. Give him his fly. Let's give him what he wants. We're going to give him what he wants. Once we do that, he got to go. Because he's going to find another way to say, all right, we want something else. They want to give us something and tell us, all right, we gave it to y'all.
It's a system. We don't understand when you hear that word, like you hear the word system, and they don't think of what the actual definition of the system is. Your car, right? Before your car actually finally taps out, a lot of shit got to go wrong. The reason why, because your engine is a system. This can fail, but this is going to pick up the slack for that. And then when that picks up slack, you get a little engine light, go get that fixed real quick, because this is going to carry this, but only for so long. Go get that fixed. And when you get that fixed, the system runs back pure again, right? So it's the same concept. Okay, cool. We'll give y'all what y'all want for now because we're going to pick that up on the back end and carry that till we get that fixed. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We know what they're doing now, so we can curb everything they're doing. We're going to show up. Like I said, well, you can imagine, think about Hinesville, Liberty County, right? I hear these stories all the time. And I'm glad I am. So if my family integrated Bradwell and they're having all these meetings at my grandma's house, think about the shit that happened at my grandma's house. I hear the stories all the time about what they were doing. because you can't get in. We don't know what y'all doing there, so we burning crosses in your front yard. We banging on doors. We egging your house. We throwing, we doing all the shit to fuck with y'all. You know what I mean? To get y'all out of that mix because we want to know what y'all doing. But once y'all let us in, cool, okay. We gonna stop this. We gonna stop that. It's a system. Systems aren't meant to be broken. They're not. They're not, and they won't be until somebody develops a new system. But the thing about it is, what reason do you have to create a new system if it's beneficial to you?
Okay, let's go system. I like what you were using with it, how it moves, the engine, right? Now take that as your brain.
Same concept.
Same concept. The more and more they keep playing on our mind, the rest of the body is not going to work because you've heard of people getting kidney transplants, heart transplants. You never heard somebody say, I'm in need of a brain. Once that brain is gone, it's over with. And they know that. Man, we are so not confident in ourselves, man. You can't tell a person. The most thing that people don't understand is in school or anything, when you read something, there's no right or wrong way that you can you comprehend interpret that. But we're trained to think that there is because of someone man-made a question because they want you to answer it the way that they're telling you how it is. But the prime example, me and you stand right here. I write a 6 in the ground. You stand over there, I stand over here. I see a 6.
I see a 9.
But I'm like, bro, you wrong. And then what you tell me?
Nah, you're wrong. It's a 9.
Bro, you lying. It's a 6.
I tell you it's a 9.
Bro, I'm looking dead at it.
You know what?
It's a 6.
It gotta be a 9.
But you're looking at it in your lens and how you interpret it, and I'm looking at it in mine. But why can't I tell you, hold on, let me walk over there and see. Damn, bro. This is a 9. But hold on, I know I ain't crazy. Come over here. Come over here and make sure that.
6.
Damn, bro, you is a 9. You a 9 too. We crazy or?
Two things can be right at once.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just, why are we so focused on if somebody's on the left and I'm on the right, we don't get along unless I come over there or you come over here?
Because we're so behind in the education system, right? We're just now getting, again, these are my aunts and uncles, I'm telling you, who integrated at school. These are my aunts and uncles. They ain't that much older than me. That's one generation before me, right? So because of that, we're probably our kids and maybe our kids' kids are going to be the ones who can fully grasp that concept, that two things can be right at one time. Because we were taught.
That generation behind us is not our ancestors.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to tell them, you got to answer why.
Right. I'm saying our kids, like they're going to be the ones that can really sit and say.
Our kids is asking why.
Right.
Our kids asking why.
And that's why I say for it to become the actual thing, our kids are asking why. So imagine what their kids are asking. And that's why I say it's our kids, they're going to be the ones that are really going to be asking these questions. And they're really going to be the ones who get it, understand that, oh shit, two things can be right. Two things can be cool. And we talked about off mic when I came in, like, bro, like the thing is we're trained to say that has to be it. And there's no other way. No, there's plenty of ways. But you take that mind state into, you spoke about having the confidence of knowing shit, right? Okay, this ain't gonna work. Cool, let me try this. It's like that old Cat Williams shit, right? We like, you be trying shit, won't work. Trying shit, it's real. But the thing is that we're so caught up in this has to be right, this has to be wrong. If I try this outside of what is the norm, doesn't work, I can't do that. Let me just fall in line with everybody else. No, keep doing, keep working, keep plugging your shit. Keep working. Like, God will give you that for a reason, right? These thoughts don't come to you over and over and over again because it's just happening. No, there's a reason for that. Put that shit on paper.
We are the strongest man and women when it comes to being black that's human. Because you know why? we were blessed. How many white women have gotten put in situations, maybe in relationship or anything, and you heard that white woman said, damn, man, my intuition told me, my gut feeling told me.
Mm-hmm.
Never. They weren't blessed with that.
But this is what you got to think. This is what you got to remember when it comes to Black folks in America. Slave ships, I know you know this, but for those who don't, a lot of people died in slave ships. A lot of people were thrown over slave ships. There's a lot of illness, sickness. You're in these slave chambers at the bottom of a ship. They're feeding you just enough to get you by. A lot of people, and this ain't no damn cruise ship. This ain't Carnival.
Take 30 days, 30 more days, 30 more days. Take you a month to get back.
And this is hoping perfect. Everything goes right 30 days. Not including
that means if y'all survive, y'all strong, so y'all are meant to come over there.
So y'all are the strongest of the strong. So that's what those are our ancestors. Mm-hmm. That's what we came from. We came from the strongest of the strong. So of course we have all them abilities. The difference is a lot of us won't tap into it because they're not home. It's not processed. When you're a kid, if, like you said, right? Because I was saying, wait, if you're a kid and you're not the smartest, right? Now, a lot of things came easy. So they put me in gift. I got myself out there. I knew it was some bullshit when I was that. Mm-hmm. No, we're not doing shit. I'm not learning shit extra in here. We here playing fucking man collar and drawing pictures. Mm-hmm. This ain't no real shit. Put me in here with my friends.
It's busy work.
It's busy work.
But because let me tell you, they're allowing you to do it there. Mm-hmm. But then with my son, he's in the regular class doing that.
Yep.
But he can't stay on task. Mm-hmm. They're calling home saying he can't stay on task. Mm-hmm. You're not challenging his mind.
What's the task? And see, and actually, on Twitter, somebody said this, and I hope they do it. There needs to be an actual study on these people these kids they call gifted, and all the consequences that came behind it, right? See, I was saying, wait, they would call my mom and tell her, Miles is sleeping in class. Miles is doing this. This is like middle school shit. Miles sleeping in class. Miles ain't paying attention, blah, blah, blah. But I said, okay, Mom, but look at my grade. I got 98 in that class. So if I can come in this lady's class and sleep and still get a 98, I'm not the problem. She is.
Bruh, do you remember when we were in 11th grade and we was in geometry together, right?
Yes.
And it was so crazy because that was one class that we actually did not give a damn about. Mm-hmm. I never forget. And I mean, we played and joked and laughed and was together so much that the teacher was like, they're best friends. I don't want neither one of them to feel any type of way about each other. So I'm going to give them the same grade. So, and then she had the nerve to give us like a 58.
No. You got the story wrong. She didn't give the same grade. She gave you 54, gave me 45.
What?
That's how that went. Because I remember when the grade came home, I told, and see what she didn't take into account was me. I told her, I said, Mom, I got a 45. Really think about this. I got a 45.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get a 45 in the class? I got to work harder to get a 45 to get a damn 60. You really got to try to get that.
You got to really try to.
I'm in class every single day.
Yeah.
I just took every test she gave. Mm-hmm. I got a 45.
I'm trying to remember, did we get failing grades on the test? I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember the test.
Nick, and I'm trying to figure out, Nick, I knew you were smart. So what the fuck I'm not going to sit next to you for?
No.
I'm trying to figure out how the fuck we got a 50 and a 40. I was so baffled, bruh. I think I panicked. And when I got my report card, I scribbled over it.
Yeah.
And then I put a black dot over that grade and took it to my mama.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, what's that? And I was just like, man, they made a mistake. Right? I was like, they made a mistake on that, right? My mama, I think the next time they had parent-teacher conference, they had the half day. Mm-hmm. And my mama went and talked to the teachers. She never did that. I don't know what the hell she went there for. I don't know why. She was like, so you had a 50-something in this class? And I was just like, damn, well, she a snitch. Damn.
Yeah.
But even with that back then, like, we did not they thought we were just pranksters or people who just wanted to disrupt. We were bored.
Yeah.
When all they had to do was just let us just leave. We could have been in the gym where noise can be made. Our laughter would not be looked at. We go tell us to walk around the track. We football players. This football season. Tell us to go in the weight room. You see our grades. You know what I'm saying? We're not scholars. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get by.
Yep.
We're with you is different, but me, you had more B's and A's and maybe one or two, maybe one C. You know what I'm saying? But me, I had, maybe two C's. If I had an A, it was like one, and the rest was B's.
I was the same. I mean, because it was more. Most of my school grades were C's. I tell you what got me in Georgia was my SAT score.
And that's the thing, like, even with the SATs, they didn't preach that enough for us. No. They didn't preach that enough for us.
I don't know what I said, and this was a thing that growing up, I was that way. Standardized tests for me were always easy. I didn't have to study for that shit. I had none of that. So what happened, even when we were little kids, ITBS, remember that shit? Like, I'll take you get stupid high scores, right? And I couldn't tell you why. It was just, that's this, that's that. You know what I mean? And it would be that. So same thing, SATs were literally, it was that for me. Like, it was like, I know it ain't this, I know it ain't that. I got 2 extra left. Boom, let me get a C. So, but the point of the matter was, those were the first times where I was starting to understand, like, you know what? The school itself, right? Institution of what schooling is not meant for us to grow. It's not meant for us to be better. Just get by. When you think about the way school works, right? It's really training you to have a job. It's training you to have a job.
It's so funny. It's so funny you say that. I'm going to give you a quick story before we close out, right? I never forget my senior year. This is how I know they don't really preach things and be on top of us, right? My senior year, we got out of school late. We got out in like June. We got out in June. June 16th was our 18th was like our graduation.
We started September.
School starts again in August, right? We graduate, do whatever. And they're like, what college you going to? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, I know where I want to go, but I don't know because I don't know how to get there, right? So my mom finally asked me like 2 weeks before or something like that, what you been doing? I was like, damn. So I ran and put in an application at Fort Valley State, right? Then she helped me with my passport. So I put the application at Fort Valley State, press send. Only school I did. Bruh, I thought that was the only process. I thought as soon as I put that application in, that's where I need to be going. What state school start? All right. They came, packed my stuff up freshman week, went.
Yep.
Miles, I never got a letter back. I'm on 16 going to Fort Valley. I'm going to Fort Valley.
Yeah.
Bro, I put my application in. So when I go and check in for freshmen, they had me a key and a dorm room. So now it's getting even better. So I'm like, okay. So I'm going. Went all through freshman week. Fought that week where financial aid has to be confirmed, right? They called me into the dean, to the financial aid office with the dean at, right? He was like, where the president was, President Rivers. He says, hey man, you need to come up here, man. Like you're not enrolled here. So I called my mama. My mom comes from Fort Valley. I don't know why she did that. She was just worried. I was just calling her to tell her what happened and laugh about it, but she got worried, right? She comes up. We in the office. He was like, so son, I'm confused because you're not enrolled. Who, like, did you get a acceptance letter? Like, who did you talk to come? And I was like, nobody. And he was like, but that don't, so what do you mean you, nobody? Like, but you don't go here. And I was like, but I put in an application. I put my application in. He was like, well, we got to review it and accept it. I said, well, hold on. Wait. Look in that real quick and see if it came through. He looks in it. And he was like, well, yeah, it's right here. And I said, well, are you reviewing it? And he was like, but that's not how it works. I said, but if I go for a job and then I call you and ask you, have you put my application? You put it right now. And you say, yeah. So what do you call me into for an interview, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was what this was. Mm-hmm. So now we're talking face to face. You see my application. I said, now, you kind of made my mama come down here for no reason. And you know how moms are. She's single mother. She's worried about her baby. I told her not to come, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to handle this, dog. Listen, I'm here now. Yeah. You gave me a key. I've unloaded my clothes. I've actually put my ass in that bed a couple of times and it smells like me. Mm-hmm. So my roommate knows me.
You be farting in your bed.
And my classmates know me now. So if you allow me to come, you make this decision. I promise you, you won't regret it, right? And he says, son, you got a lot of balls to do something like that. So something's telling me to let you come. Now, that decision to let me go to school and get a degree, oh yeah, I let him down. Mm-hmm. I did. I lied. I let him down. However, who I am now as a man and as a black man, as Dr. Rivers, as my black elder man, by just seeing a young man like me and giving a chance on me like that to just say, I don't want to throw him back to the Savannah streets, and who God knows what he's going to do. 18, no plan, no job, and he's out here. What can hit his psyche for being turned around and saying, go back home. Yep. And I thank him for that too, because I am who I am now. But just even back then, the confidence in having an 18-year-old black child to do that. All the things that they could have taught us education-wise out of a book, it had nothing to do with what we know in our minds, and spiritually to know and confidently know.
But think about everything that you took that you never got taught, that you took into that office, right? The confidence to stand on that shit, right? Say, well, listen, hey, I know, but I can promise you, you say you lied to him, whatever, but you didn't lie. Did you graduate with? No, but you didn't lie. You know what I mean? You didn't fail at the end of the day, right? You still here. You still successful. You know what I mean? So you didn't fail.
I didn't fail.
You know what I mean? Now, was that?
But I knew that. I knew what I was coming with. Right. I knew I wasn't going to like school. I mean, man, listen, you're going to change my life.
Bruh, I tell folks all the time, man, I graduated from Southern. 90% of the shit they gave me in there, I learned in that shit. I don't fucking know. None of it. The way I used to pass tests was what I would do. I would write everything down. Mm-hmm. My memory was good. So what I would do was when I got to the test, I said, I didn't write that down. So that can't be an answer. I didn't write that down. That can't be an answer. I didn't write that down. Oh, it's multiple choices. My favorite words in college was the multiple choice test because I knew I could pass that motherfucker. Whether I studied or not, I'm going to pass it because if I wrote the notes down in class, and I studied after, just write it down while I'm there. Let me remember what I wrote. I wrote that down. Bet I'm good. So it's saying, so, you know what I mean? So college as a whole has to be something, but that's why I go back to what we said earlier. Our kids, those are the ones that say, yo, we don't need, so all this shit now you're hearing with student loans and all that. I got student loans. Our kids, when they start saying, when they're the generation that it's a standard to say, yo, fuck college. Now these colleges aren't the businesses that they are. That's what they are. They're not institutions of higher learning that we were taught as little kids. They're businesses. Mm-hmm. We're here. That's why the tuition keeps going up every year. Mm-hmm. It's a business. You're not offering me any more, but my tuition goes up every year. Mm-hmm. It's just like rent. Mm-hmm. You can live in the exact same apartment, but you renew your lease and it's going up. Why? You give me the same shit. My light don't shine no brighter. My soul don't get no hotter, but I'm paying more. For what? It's the same shit I was in 2 years ago.
I mean, as a kid, you just get hornier because all these parties, all these females, all these, drugs, booze.
That's it.
That's all.
And you ain't got no cost for that.
Exactly.
You ain't got to be a school for that shit.
Exactly. But a lot of kids go to college and do it because if they don't have a plan, they're not ready to stay in their house with their parents still and have that type of fun because the structure is going to still be the same. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because if their parents didn't care what they did, staying out, partying as a child, then they wouldn't have college on their mind. Mm-hmm. The smart kids that felt like their parents kept a strong hand over them are the ones that school first, He respect, you know what I'm saying? And things like that.
My parents didn't know where I was going to school. They didn't. I told them I'm going to Georgia. Oh, okay, cool. My mom went to Southern, and that's my thought process. Actually, I got accepted in Southern, Valdosta, and Auburn. In Fort Valley, actually, matter of fact. Eric went to 12 for that. Called me while he was there. He said, my nigga is pregnant, dogs and shit running around the campus. I'm not going. That was my business.
And I mean, on the yard. Like, walking across the Greek side paint.
He called me as the dog. This is before Instagram and shit. He called me as
MySpace.
Yeah, this is before all that with MySpace. He called me while the dog was running across the shit. And someone said, bro, I'm not fucking going. I said, shit, I ain't need all I need to know. All I knew, I remember my brother sat me down when I turned 18, we went to Temptation Park Strip Club. And we was right. He said, what's who you was? It's like, man, I think I'm down by Austin and Southern. He said, well, I'll tell you this. He said, last thing you want to be is broke as fuck 4 hours away from home. I'm going to Southern.
Yes. That's what I learned.
Put me 30 minutes up the road and shit get real. I'm
back then, bro, I had the Honda. If I needed gas and my mama couldn't put it in an account or something, I can get from Statesboro to Savannah on a quarter tank in the Honda.
Oh, you know what I learned? Nigga, I would swipe my debit card and run that bitch's credit on the Friday. Because running on Friday, it'll clear till Monday. So what I figured out is, well, shit, if I can put $20 in here, I can get $20 from my mama when I get home.
Yes,
put
sir.
it in my account to cover that.
Yes, sir.
Let's just get me home.
That weekend ain't gonna never be able to get that money. It can't be, that money can't be, you can't confirm.
It's $1.
Yes, sir.
$1 coming out until now Monday. That bitch gonna clip.
Yeah,
it's gonna take the rest, and hopefully you got that in your account.
Either 12 a.m. or 3 a.m.
That's a fact. It's
one of the two.
Yeah.
Some of them can hit you by 8 p.m., 8 a.m. It just depends if the system is generated by the person when they cut the lights on, they cut the computer on and click the button.
Yeah.
But most of them are generated 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's a computer. It hits.
Yeah, and it's sweet.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Like our kids are going to have a mindset. Our kids are going to have a standard. And that's going to be the difference. Our kids are going to teach, our kids are going to teach our grandkids, hey, nah, you ain't got to do that. Listen, this is what your granddaddy did. This is what your granddaddy taught. So this is what y'all want. The same thing with these kids, with the white kids going to college. They have a plan. If they're going to college, there's a plan. Now, this ain't all of them, right? And I make sure I say that shit. This ain't all white people. When I talk about white people, I'm not talking about every last one. I know some really good white people. Yeah. Really good ones. I know the same thing with black folks. I know some really good. I know some really fucked up ass, you know what I mean? So that's life, right? There's no absolutes in anything. But the point of the matter is, you know what I mean? A lot of them have plans, and they know a lot of them not going to college. Think about think about how many Patels we knew growing up. Motherfuckers ain't going to college. They gonna graduate high school. They gonna learn their family business. They gonna get them a gas station too. And that's it. And that's what they're going to do. And they're going to teach their kids that and their kids. And then they're going to invest in other shit. They're going to buy houses and real estate and flip shit and do all this shit to generate wealth for their family. And that's how how that generational wealth gets established. Mm-hmm. We're so far behind that now we're really the first generation that's saying, well, damn, we went to college. Yeah. But we ain't got to go to college.
We don't.
So let me tell my daughter, let me tell my son, hey, you ain't got to go to college. But if you don't go to college, you need a plan. You need to be doing. And let me tell you, these are things you can be doing. It ain't, and see, for us, it was go to college, go to the army, or go to track.
Because they took away the trade.
Exactly. We didn't know. Because think about it, they didn't make it, they didn't put it in the mind that we look at it now. Who the fuck was in high school saying I'm about to go be a plumber? They didn't tell us that plumber.
Because they made it an option. Right. They made it an option. But back then, it was forced.
But see, also it looked down on it. It was looked down upon.
Yeah, because none of us plunging the toilet.
Yeah, I ain't fucking plunging. They didn't tell you they're making $40 an hour. Yeah. You know what I mean? They didn't tell you that. Yeah. You say, man, I ain't doing no fucking.
Because we looked at most of those type of jobs as slave work.
Exactly.
And not as that can make you build your own.
Imagine if the trucking industry, the way it blew up in the last few years, was blown up the way it was now when we were kids.
Yeah.
The way we thought.
Yeah.
Coming out of high school.
Because we thought it wasn't even about the money. A lot of these men didn't want to be away from their families all the time. You know what I'm saying? Families. Which, and the thing about it, bro, it's a lot of local work that's around. You just, if you have your own, just good negotiation skills, You know what I'm saying?
It's all trouble.
And that's all it is.
That's all it is.
But man, I'm glad you came through, bro, because this was finally needed, man. It took a minute.
Yeah.
It took a minute, man. It took a good minute for you to come, man. I told you like, man, waiting on my daddy to come pick me up, bro. And I'm sitting at the door. And you just be like, son, not this week, but I'm telling you, we gonna shoot for next week. Okay?
I told you though. I told you this day.
I can't make you any promises, but what I tell you is, let's shoot for next week.
You hear me? I said I will be there this day at this time.
I'm glad you finally did, man, because I remember the day that I came to you about it, man, and you gave me as much time as you could, and that's all I've ever told people, man. Is I'm real. I'm gonna tell you. If you give me your word on something, people don't understand how hard I go on some stuff that I say that I want to do. The person that is teaching me or the person that's going to show me the way, you better be on my type of level, because I'm going to seem as I'm being sickening. I'm bothering you. Hey, bro, you don't understand how much I got going on, but you told me, and I told you at the beginning, bro, this ain't going to be for you, boy. You better let me know. I give everybody the heads up, bro, because I like everybody to have options. You don't box nobody in and say, this is the way. But if you have the option to say yes or no, when you say yes, I can say, well, bro, you said yes. Not the thing of, well, nah, bro, you told me. I ain't tell you I could. Yes, you did, because I said yes or no. But you stood on as much as you could, man. And even with that, it wasn't the right time.
Right.
It wasn't the right time when we were planning that stuff, man. And right now, you are finally having a break on whatever you doing. I'm kicking my stuff off. So finally, you got, the way to just bounce in and bounce out certain places. And now you have the freedom to do it. And you found some time today, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. In the day, everything always work out, man. It's like you said with that, we talked about it earlier, man. Everybody gonna be built the same with shit.
Yeah.
Everybody built the same. So you carry that shit. I said, what you doing is dope. I knew you forever, you know what I'm saying? We talk about all kind of shit, man. One thing about it, I know you're gonna put the work in to grow your shit. I know that. So see what you're doing now, man. I've listened to the first 3 episodes, man. Everything dope. Content is dope. First episode brought a tear to my eye, man. Shot a little breath, man. You held that down because, at the funeral, man, 2 minutes ain't enough time to give bro his proper flower. And
I told you from the time we left that cemetery, that didn't sit well with me. The whole thing.
Yep.
And I made it my mission. I said, bro, I will find something, mark my word, that I will do for little bro, because that right there, I think a lot of people left there still not just questioning, and that celebration did not make people still feel like, yes, being absent from the body, in our not being in our presence, you still can come and find terms with, okay, a better place. People still walked out of there like, what the fuck is still going on?
And I will hope whenever I pass, and I think it's very right. My grandma passed 2 years ago. And one thing I appreciated in that funeral was that it carried her spirit, right? Like the funeral had her personality. Like we carried it. So that's all that was important for little bro. We talked about that didn't feel like a celebration.
What me and you did while the preacher was preaching,
right,
with each other,
was
what people should have been doing. Because after we tuned that preacher out, the spirit that you're talking about, your grandma, that spirit of little bro resonated in us.
Yep.
And we were just killing that preacher. I mean, fun. And people can look at us. They were still confused about the service and confused why we going in. Even after I finished being so broken, you picked me up and we were just going in. And that's what we got to continue to do as people, bro. Whether or not like or love, man, as a community and a culture, that's just what we got to do for each other, man, because the only time you look down on a man is when you're picking him up. That's the only time. So I appreciate that. And one more time, man, give them everything they can do to find you, man, to make sure they follow you. Give them all the rundown.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. So I got New Dawn Sports. That's event marketing, planning, promotion. We got fitness as well, man. Looking for a trainer. My guy in Atlanta does that. So that's at New Dawn Sports on Instagram. Also, Facebook. You can find me on Instagram as well at the Untitled Pod. That's the Untitled Podcast. You can find me there. Looking for me personally, you can find me at This Is Booby on Instagram, man. So all three, make sure you tap in and find me, man. Talk to me, I talk back. So that being said, man, appreciate you, brother.
Anytime, man. And as soon as you guys jump back for y'all next season, man, let me know because I gotta return the favor.
Oh yeah,
I gotta return the favor, man. Because one thing about it, man, you're not gonna, come on mine, man, and I can't show my gratitude and my thank you to you, man. But when we have platforms, instead of we can have competitiveness. We can have healthy competition numbers-wise and do things like that, but we don't need to bring each other down. When we're competing,
civil rivalries.
If we're competing, bro, the winner, loser, we still go out to dinner, bro. It hurts to lose. It feels good to win. But at the end of the day, some people don't know when you lose, bro, what happens after that loss is the part of the game because how are you going to bounce back to make sure that loss never happens again?
Civil rivalries, man. I met you, 17 years ago? Been brothers since day one, man. So,
since we stepped on the football field as freshmen.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? As freshmen, going to, and then coming past to Georgia Southern. And just throughout life, man, you keep those relationships because one thing I don't do, I don't burn bridges, care relationships. So, guys, thank you for listening to me and my dog Booby, because you got some real content today. What we gonna do, man? Me and him are definitely gonna spend some more time in the rabbit hole, man, because this can't be the only time you guys hear this. We gotta make sure we make this a thing. Booby's gonna come through and make sure he graces his presence with you guys, man. And he has a lot of platforms, man. Fuck with him with that, man, because he's doing a lot of things out here in the community and with, podcasts and social topics, man, and round table talks. He has a lot of things going on right now. Let's continue to support each other and what we have going on, man, because with numbers, bruh, we can conquer all. And we can never do anything divided. We're going to have to do it collectively and do it the right way. So until next time, guys, this is JP on the FWM podcast. Fuck with me.
I'm a rebel with a cause, devil with a cross, Jesus with a pitchfork. I'm about to shit start. I'm the same difference, I ain't tripping, I ain't listening to none of that fuckery. I'm done giving the fuck. If they fuck with me, just don't fuck with me. I'm a rebel with a cause, devil with a cross, Jesus with a pitchfork. I'm about to shit start. I'm the same difference, I ain't tripping, I ain't listening to none of that fuckery. I'm done giving the fuck. If they fuck with me, just don't fuck with me. I'm a demon with a halo, nigga with the peso, say it ain't so, but I would be lying, and that's just the truth. I'm a homeless rich man, an innocent criminal, a serious cynical, private general, with quick ways to kill him slow. I'm the first page closed in the 4-0, you don't fuck with me no more, cool, I don't fuck with you either, I'm that good old evil. Oh, you like designer? Well, bitch, I'm the Bo Evil. I'm the student that'll teach you. I'm that humane creature. I'm that solo feature. Non-violence that'll beat you. I'm the fast that'll eat you. The QB in the bleachers. With them bullets still a reach you. You done lost your brother's keeper. How your third eye open, but your ass still sleep. I'm a rebel with a cause, devil with a cross, Jesus with a pitchfork. I'm about to shit start. I'm the same difference, I ain't tripping, I ain't listening to none of that fuckery. I'm done giving the fuck. If they fuck with me, just don't fuck with me. I'm a rebel with a cause, devil with a cross, Jesus with a pitchfork. I'm about to shit start. I'm the same difference, I ain't tripping, I ain't listening to none of that fuckery. I'm done.